Welcome to the Encouragement Engineering Podcast. We help people to combat the negativity that inundates our daily lives with a positive perspective and positive action. Today's guest is Kate Glendon. Kate is a certified professional life coach and mindset coach who is dynamic and forward thinking. Kate works with her clients to address the underlying causes of feeling overwhelmed and stressed so her clients feel balanced by creating boundaries and developing healthier habits. Kate guides her clients to identify goals and visions they want for themselves, and together she helps to develop strategies and roadmaps for clients to achieve their goals. This ultimately leads to a more joyful and healthy lifestyle. Kate has over 15 years of experience in community health promotion and prevention, behavior change, and improving total wellness. She loves assisting businesses, communities, groups, and individuals to increase their quality of life and make lasting healthy change. So please welcome to the show, Kate Glendon. Kate, thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So excited to speak today.
Well, thank you. And why don't we start out by letting people know a little bit more about you, who you are. So tell us about you and how you got to where you are today.
Sure. So as far as I can remember, I've always loved helping people. I grew up in a helping family with all different types of backgrounds in volunteerism, as well as nurses, social workers, doctors. Not one that can handle blood and organs, but
Yeah.
happy to teach you how to prevent them from getting illnesses and to keep you healthy. And so that's the route that I took, was taking a broader picture of changing environments, developing grassroots coalitions to ultimately increase people's life outcomes so that they
Okay.
live longer and happier. And then I took it about a year ago, a year and a half ago, a little bit further. And I was like, well, I could do more with this. I could work more with people. We all get stuck in our goals and our own paths. And, I think after coming out of, 3 years of working really, really hard and just feeling maybe like not getting anywhere, is this it? I've reached so many accomplishments, what's next and what is that? And so I didn't want anyone else to have to kind of like discover that by themselves.
Hmm.
So I decided, after I went through my journey of working with my life coach, to be like, well, this is something I want to do and help others, especially people who are, between 30 and 50 years old, who are just like either transitioning careers, or maybe, marriage, divorce, children life, like getting that time freedom, or maybe they're older and they just like they have so much left to do on their to-do list because they live so safely and they tiptoed through life. And I'm going to tell you, like, to take that big jump,
Yeah.
and and they need someone to do that. And so I've, had the opportunity to work with lovely ladies, leading them to prevent weight, type 2 diabetes, and getting their levels low so that they are not pre-diabetic. And that's so rewarding in a group setting,
Yeah.
and
Well,
learning about people's triggers. So I started my own business,
mhm.
and that's kind of how I got where I am today.
Well, that's a great thing because I mean, it's people that as they get older, they got to realize, things don't work the same when you were 18. So, you do have to watch your diet. You do have to exercise. And part of the other extreme is as you get older, and I've seen it a lot, is when you get into if you get into health facilities or nursing facilities, assisted living facilities, whatever you want to call them, and that's the biggest depleter of health is the fact that you're not as mobile. Maybe your mind goes, maybe your bodies are going, and that's hard on the mind. So that's a good place that you help people to you know go forward with and be healthy about their lives. It's interesting too. I like the idea of the goal clarity, and I'm curious with that. Um does that start with a clear mindset, or how does that work? Help us understand that a little bit, if you would.
So great. So everyone, whether they know it or not, they probably have something they want to achieve in life. Some people call it goals or just to-do lists or whatnot. And I like to call it like a clarity around something that scares them a little bit. And we call it a goal. And there's no time limit to reach this. So it's a little bit different than what you learn in academia, where your goals must be smart and measurable and time achievable.
Right.
It's about taking the little action steps to reach them. So that 1% change every day that you can do to maybe open up a side business or a side hustle or
Hmm.
save money for retirement. And what we do is kind of we walk through like a little bit through the wheel of life and figuring out what areas that you want to improve on. Maybe they already know and maybe they don't. And maybe that goal is to find more time freedom in their schedule because I mean, let's say we're like all overbooked. I think I
Yeah.
overbooked today. Actually, I know I did, and I bless her for being so forgiving. But it's like, how do we organize our lives better? And so that could be a goal because and that's one of the goals to get you to have more time freedom is being adherent to your calendar and scheduling in what you need to schedule and learning to say no. And so if your goal is, I want to have more time to spend with my family on the weekend and at night, and then we go backwards to figure out how we can achieve that. And some our goals are even bigger. Some, it's like, I want to make an extra $5,000 a month through network marketing. And, how do you do that? Or so those are some of the goals. And I just worked with someone who wanted to launch their own business and blog. And that scares them. They don't know like where to start and just starting there and kind of figuring out that action plan.
And
Because once you
that's
have that, you know where you're going, right? It's like your roadmap.
right. Yeah, and that's obviously you got to have a roadmap because knowing you are here, we all know hopefully that we're where we are right now, but yeah, where do we want to go? I mean, nowadays everybody pulls out, yeah, well, Google Maps or whatever it is on their phone, their device, and they you can see them going from here to the store. It's like, really, you don't know how to get to the store. You don't need this for local things, but so you're kind of that for people's lives then, a Google Map, if you will, huh?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, Google Glendon.
There you go.
And and there you go. And I'm actually really good at maps because my father was very good at directions. So
Yeah.
don't tell my husband that. But I um but yeah, so people need a map to life, and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. It's just, sometimes they don't have that mentor in their life, and that's what
Right.
I am. The cheerleader, how to get them to ask them those tough questions of why. Why do you want that? Like,
Hmm.
are you is this goal, why do you have this goal? This goal is for you, not for anyone else, but because you personally want it. Like, not to retire your husband, not to do anything like that. It's for you.
Right.
And that's what's so important about it. And women especially are people pleasers and want to take care of their family and neglect themselves. And even the same with males, they they want to work and make the money so that the family can have everything, right? We all have these society roles that we play, and if we don't do it, then the imposter syndrome sets in. And
Right.
so let's remove that. Let's like remove that mask that we wear and get down to the inner work so that we can get to the life that you desire. So you stop living by the standards of whoever made them up.
I Yeah, I appreciate that. No standards, because those standards, whoever, like you said, whoever made them up, it doesn't apply now. It's like, looking at some of the laws on the books of these cities where, no spitting on the sidewalk or something. Well, that was done in 1886. Does it apply now? Probably not. So,
It should. It
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
should. It's a
that
public
should, but
health hazard.
well, what you mentioned stress, and that's a good one because everybody runs into some type of stress or they're overloaded. What do you think are some of the major causes of stress? If you give us maybe one or two of those for people to understand, I'm sure they'll say, "Oh, I got that," or what are some of those key stress factors?
Stress. Okay, it's all how what we think is stress is.
Okay,
And so some people have no stress, and the reason why they say that is because not everything that we view as stress is stress for them.
right.
And those people see the bigger picture. Stress for them is no food, no shelter, nowhere to go, where other people are unable to see the mind shift around it. Okay, stress is I have so much on my plate, but do you really?
Yeah,
What is really stress? Is it just your to-do list is too long? Are you ruminating about a situation, or are you thinking, can you reset your mind? Like, I'm so blessed that I have to manage all these people, and what can I add value to them so that they're less of a stress to me. Or, instead of kind of putting the responsibility on themselves for the reason why certain things are happening or not happening in their life, is being a compassionate scientist, is what my mentor said, is just like, okay, why is that stressful for you? Like sometimes it triggers back to the past, the forward, like if you don't do that, what will happen or what won't happen? Work from
Right.
the worst case scenario backwards. And a lot of times it's like, well, if I don't answer that email, my boss is gonna, or my friend is gonna, no, they're not. Like
Yeah.
they'll figure it out. And, so it's setting boundaries. And when people set boundaries, it's really hard. Um, and it can create stress because we're
Yeah.
so used to operating a certain way. So when we switch it, it's very different for people.
That's something. Um, and that's always a big one there, right there. You said it, when you switch things up or you change, people don't like change, that's hard for people. And that creates its own, oh, what about they go into the fear mode of, what if, woulda, coulda, shoulda, and that doesn't you can't predict the future, and what's behind you is already done. So why you can't change it. So learn from it, move on. But um, how do you help people cope with that fear mechanism that kicks in?
Right. So fear, it can be so controlling. And I've been through it, I've dealt with it. Like it can prevent you from everything. But like fear, is just a feeling that we're creating that we're allowing to control our life. No one,
I
yeah.
gotta interrupt right there. I hope the audience heard that. Fear is something we're creating. Did you hear that? So, I appreciate you saying that, but I want to make sure people hear that.
And people who are listening, like feel like I feel you. I know what it's like. That it's like this, everything gets tight, you're scared. We're thinking these things, but they're not fearful at all. Like how could we change how we're thinking about it?
Mhm.
And if we allow fear to dictate our life, what are we going to miss out on?
Yeah,
And so that's what it comes down to. So if I choose to live in this fearful way, what am I missing out on? Or if I choose this way, what do I gain?
right,
And what happens, if what's the medium? Well, you tiptoe the line, but then you have to decide like how cautious do you want to live your life?
yeah,
And and so, is it the fear of snakes? Well, it's really easy avoidable. Well, just don't go anywhere that has snakes. I mean, you're not going to miss out on too much fun by that, unless you're an avid hiker or a zoo, visitor. But I mean, what's the worst case scenario? Work your way back.
right.
Usually it's just sometimes you just need to take that big step forward and like bring other friends with you, make it a fun thing, or realizing that you're allowing this feeling that you're thinking as not a fact.
Right.
It's just what it is. And write it down. Like I tell clients, like we call it a dump, like a brain dump,
Hmm.
and write down what is actually real, a fear, a thought, and what, a fact. And usually it's just worries.
Yeah.
And it's really important to understand that because we all have worries. Some people worry more than others, and
Right.
just to realize the truth.
Yeah. And I always think of a quote I don't know who said it, but it's worry is like a rocking chair. You do a whole lot of work for nothing. It doesn't get you anywhere. All you're doing is producing effort, and that's
Right.
all worry
I mean,
is.
I've done,
Yeah.
like, I probably have broken rocking chairs with worrying,
Yeah.
and I'm learning still not to
Yeah.
worry.
It's a
Um,
never-ending saga. Yeah.
but the truth is like once you find out the truth of whatever you're fearing or worrying about, you're like, that's so dumb. Why, then you shame yourself instead of just avoid it. This could or may not happen. And let's get curious if it does, if it doesn't. And after the fact, like, why did that trigger you? And maybe
Right.
you had past experiences that you're still trying to work through.
Huh? Hmm. Now, you always hear the scenario, I feel stuck, and we talked about that in your bio too. What are some things that, what can people do when they get that feeling of being stuck and being, you know, stuck in life and they need to change, does that go, obviously fear can hold them back from that, like we just talked about. What are some other things when they feel stuck? What can they do to get out of that?
That's a great question. So, why do you feel stuck? What is it that is making you feel stuck? Is it where you are? Are you feeling stuck in your location? Are you feeling like stuck at work? So, what does that feel like? Okay. Are you not moving up laterally? Are you bored?
Hmm.
Are you bored with your routine, like the rinse and repeat? So, what could you do to feel 1% better? Is it going for a walk to like switch up everything, add some more serotonin? Maybe you need to add some more fun during the week so that you're not waiting till Friday night. Maybe you don't know what it is. And so, what would you want to feel? And that's what I
Right.
would ask. Well, if you don't want to feel stuck, what do you want to feel? What are you missing? What do you feel like you're missing out on? Where do you want to go? And then keep working to the next feeling until you kind of we figured out together. Okay, well, you're maybe you're just tired and you just you need a
Yeah.
vacation.
Yeah, if all else
So
fails,
this is kind of
reboot,
like,
right?
you need to kind of relook at things.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, how can you add value to whatever you're doing right now where you feel stuck? Can you show up differently? Can you go and plan something that is on your desire list?
Mhm.
And if you want to, elevate your life and level it up, well, what would you need to do that?
Yeah. All right. So ask questions, change. Okay. Interesting. You know,
Sorry.
no, but that's good because that's the thing people, I think we forget to do because we're so busy, if you will, living life, and then we forget to ask ourselves, these type of things, and it's important. It's good insight for us to catch that. Um, does does a positive mindset matter in all this?
Yes.
Yeah.
It does, right? Because we have the one thing we do have control over is how we feel and think and our mindset. So
Mm-hmm.
you have the ability to ultimately feel better. That is really cliche and easy to say, right? Let it
Yeah.
go, be happy. But how, and I understand that because people say that to me because, right, we all have good days, we have
Yeah.
bad days, but how can you just reframe it and what could you be grateful for? Because if you're being praising three things that actually went right today, you're changing, you're feeling upward. So you're not
Right.
focusing on everything that might have gone wrong, right? Like, um, for instance, I flooded my basement washing things that should have not gone in the washing machine, like large pillows. Hey, but that was a really tough 2 hours cleaning up the floor, but my basement is organized and beautiful. So I'm so grateful and thankful for that.
Yeah.
But it could be, I got, through a meeting and I didn't react. I took notes, I listened, and I paid attention.
Right.
And it could be as simple as that. Or I did the three things on my to-do list. Like I did my laundry, I mowed the lawn, and I went to the grocery store. So it's focusing on the little things to make your mind feel better. And then getting, and telling yourself more positive self-talk. Because why are
Right.
you having a mindset that may not be as positive or what are you telling yourself? So it's the stuff that we tell ourselves that equals the results in our life. So if we have this like rumination about anything, if we're focusing on the past, we're reliving it every day.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
why? Okay, get everything that you obviously are self focusing on, and what could these moments teach you and project you forward? And that's really important to understand and then let it go because
Right.
you cannot change the past.
No, you can't.
You
You
can't.
can't.
But you
And
can like, I mean, you can make up a different story in the way that you end it if you really need to. But and I could say that, like, I mean, how many times have you tried to, if I just said this differently, if I didn't do that or whatever, you did it,
yeah.
unfortunately, and
Yeah.
now you know better. And when you know better, then you do better. And
I
that's
like
really
that.
what it comes down to is and it takes a while. I mean, I literally had to write down and listen to a podcast that said the past is the past. you can't change it.
Right.
It's like, it's like a scar. You're not going to keep opening it up. You're
True.
going to let it
That's
heal
a
and move
there's a
on.
good analogy. That's good. I like that because that really I think cements it. You don't want okay, you have a scar, you don't want to reopen it. Yeah, that's and yet we do that with our negative self-talk. We always go to the negative first because I think it's easy. But we're better than that. And like you said, you can change the direction of your story whenever your mindset chooses, and it's helping your continue to go over that idea of positive mindset. I always appreciate the quote Zig Ziglar would say, a bath is recommended daily, and we hope you take a bath every day because, it's just like the positive mindset you have to keep every day. You have to continue to do that. And because the negativity will just inundate you as, we see. So, um,
Absolutely. And you can just bypass it, right?
yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, great. Well, Kate, where can people find out more about you and what you offer? Tell us about that so they can make sure they get a hold of you
Sure.
and follow you.
So if you go to my website, glendoncoaching.com, you can find various amounts of information. Please sign up for my free newsletter, and that will get you into able to schedule a complimentary call with me so that you can discover your goals.
Right.
And read my blogs on my website. We have a private Facebook group as well. That's all on my website. And then you can follow me on Instagram, which is Kate Glendon _ coaching. I have a lot of daily information that I post there as well.
Great. Great. Well, we'll make sure we put that in the show notes because we want people to be able to follow you, get a hold of you, see what you're up to. I like the idea of your newsletter and your blog. That's always interesting because those can be fun, they can be informative. So thank you for doing that. And Kate, thank you for
Absolutely.
being a guest on the Encouragement Engineering podcast. I really appreciate it. Appreciate your time, appreciate your insight, and look forward to hearing about more of what you're doing coming up.
Absolutely. Thank
Well,
you
great.
so much.
Thank you. You have a great day.
Bye bye.